Hello friends and welcome to Digital Marketing Conclave. Today we are going to discuss about yet another exciting topic, which is top 10 questions to ask your clients in case you're a freelance content writer. So have you ever experienced anxiety or stress when you've been talking to your clients? Have you faced a situation where you're looking at multiple rewrites? When you think of that situation, what is the one thing that you wish you had done different? Most of the people that I ask this question always tell me that they wish they had asked more questions. So let us look at the top 10 questions that you should probably be asking your clients when you take on freelancing projects. The first question to ask is, what is the brand's tone of voice, or are there any brand guidelines? Every company has its own set of branding guidelines, and it's better if you are if you have been given access to those brand guidelines, or if you've been briefed about that brand guidelines, because even within the same parent brand, the tone of voice, the personality of the brand can differ, and that actually has a huge impact on the writing. So the same content can be written in different ways if it is written from the perspective of being informative but casual, and it can be given a completely different treatment if it is written with a rather serious undertone. So understanding the brand guidelines, what's the personality of the brand, what is the tonality of the brand, is very, very important, and that should be your first question. The second question should be, let me know the basics. So obviously you should have access to details such as what is the word limit, how many paragraphs are they expecting, what is the overall structure, do they expect figures and tables, what is to be the treatment of graphs, etc. So all those questions you should be aware of, what to do for all the questions that I just listed. Apart from that, you should also ask if there is an outline that they would like to receive, they'd like to sign off and approve. All of this will drastically reduce the amount of rework that you have to do. Once that happens, you'll discover joy when you write, when you see that your drafts are getting approved, probably in the first, if not the second round. You'll see that it's a much more enjoyable process. So now let's come to question number 3. Question number 3 is all about understanding the target audience. Very, very important. The person who's consuming the content actually decides the way the content has to be written, the way the content has to be structured. If I'm writing for a CXO level audience, that content will have a very different tonality and tone of voice as opposed to one that is targeting 13 to 19-year-olds. So understanding the target audience is very important. Make sure you ask the client to share, if not the brand personas, if not the customer personas, at least a basic demographic idea about who will be ultimately consuming the content. The next question that you should be asking your client is there a content style sheet? Now, out of all the questions that we are going to discuss today, if you could choose just one, I would say then this is it. The content style sheet is the single most tool that will help you write better. It will help you produce an output which is more aligned to your client's desired outcomes. And a content style sheet is nothing but a document which contains the entire way in which the content is structured and authored within that particular company or client. Clients may have different preferences towards spelling. Some of them may prefer UK spellings, and yet others may prefer British spellings. So the treatment of spellings, punctuation, grammar, stylistic interventions, all of this gets captured in a content style sheet. If a client offers to share his content style sheet with you, then you can be rest assured that the client is serious about content. Not many clients have a content style sheet ready, and they may not share it with you simply because they have never crafted one yet. So in case you come across such a client, worry not. You can always create your own one and share it with the client. It only shows you in a light which is favorable. You come across as a notch higher than perhaps some of the other freelancers. If you don't have a content style sheet template yet, don't worry. I have created one and I'll just link it in the comment section below. The next question that you should probably be asking your client is, what is the penultimate outcome format for this content that you're writing? The reason why I say this is because a press release has a slightly different structure than an ebook or perhaps a white paper, and you need to be sure of how is the final content going to be presented. And once that happens and you have an idea about what the penultimate outcome format is, it is a step towards reducing the number of rewrites that you'll be making for this particular project. The next question that you should be asking your client is, what is the ultimate business objective that this content piece is supporting? This is an important ask because no content piece exists in isolation. It always supports a marketing or a business objective, and the more closer you are towards such objectives, the better it is for you as a freelancer, because you are simply not writing content, you're a strategic partner for them, which increases your credibility in their eyes, and it again presents you or showcases your skills much more favorably. So understand what the business outcomes are. If you can align your content towards those business outcomes, that's even better. The next question that you should be asking your client is, how often you want project updates. Now, there are some clients who like to be very hands-on and they want to be updated from day to day. There are yet others who do not want to be, who do not want the update frequency to be so intense, and they'd rather receive communication perhaps only around important milestones. So this is another question that you should ask to ensure that you have a communication cadence which is aligned to the client. So ask, how frequently would you like to receive an update about this project? The next question that you should ask your client is, what is the process for rewrites? Now, I've been on both sides of the table, so I can say this, that there's a lot that goes behind a particular content not getting approved or approved, and obviously there are things that need to be addressed on both sides of the table. But more often than not, freelancers are actually the receiving end when it comes to rewriting content continuously. So what can you possibly do if you are a freelance writer to prevent that you are rewriting the same content many times? Now, the steps that I have outlined in the previous discussion, just in this video, should actually help you reduce the number of rewrites that you do. But ultimately, if it does come to a point where you're having to submit rewrites, you should clearly specify the duration for which the rewriting is valid. Okay, so I've had a couple of writers tell me that they are open to rewriting the same content piece for unlimited number of times, but that would be valid only for 3 days. There are yet others who tell me that they are open to rewriting, but the rewriting would be only for 20% of the content, and I would have to highlight which sections of the total content do I want to be rewritten. So be very clear with your terms and conditions when it comes to rewriting. Don't leave it open-ended, because if you leave it open-ended, then you are actually inviting a lot of trouble for yourself, so to speak. The next question that you should ask is about references. So always ask, what references should you consult when you're authoring a particular content piece, because it's very easy to fall into the trap of writing something similar. And if you really want to write something stellar, you should probably do a secondary research of all the previous topics that have been written in the same area. What are the gaps that are there in each of the topics, and what you can probably do to write something different. And the moment you start thinking, writing something unique, and you identify which are the 5 or the 3 key points missing in every article, and you identify which are the articles that have done the best, and probably those identify the common areas and the missing gaps. And once you do that analysis and you incorporate it in your content, it is surely going to be a lot more popular than the already published content. As Rand Fishkin says, if you gotta write content, write something that is at least 10x above the most prevalent content that exists. So the references will help you identify what is missing, and it'll also help you, give you a sense about the tonality, the target audience, and basically again go towards reducing the number of rewrites that you write. The last question is there anything that you think I should know about the project? Now, in the course of the engagement, there are some times that you might have forgotten to ask a question which ultimately turns out to be an important question. On the other hand, the client may have forgotten to inform you about probably a critical step. Either way, is an open-ended question like this always sweeps all the things, and it ensures that nothing gets left on the table. So be sure to ask questions, and that's all I would like to say in conclusion. Is in the beginning of my career, I never was comfortable asking questions, because I always felt it would showcase me perhaps not in the best light, and it would project me as somehow less of an expert. But that's not the case. A confident content writer always asks questions, because it shows that you care about your work and you're serious about your process. So keep writing and keep watching my channel. And in case there are any questions that you feel that I can answer for you, please share those questions in the comments. I'll surely try to see if I can make a video about it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.